Good morning, Stampers. I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and today on Maker Mornings with Meg, we are going to start with an origami base. And I'm not an origami expert. I mean, I can make paper cranes with the best of them, but, well, not the best of them. I can make paper cranes, let's say. But I Googled for the fold for today's card, and it is called the preliminary base. So if you're an origami aficionado or expert, way more than me already, you know what we're doing today. If you don't, then I'm gonna show you, so not to worry. But we are doing kind of a one-sheet wonder. Usually a one-sheet wonder technique is one where you stamp a whole sheet of cardstock and then you chop it up into little bits and use it for different projects. But we're going to kind of use our very delightful designer series paper with all those pretty patterns on it. And we are, here's the back side, going to turn this into a fun fold card using just this one sheet of designer series paper. So, and of course some scraps of Whisper White or Basic White and so forth. So morning, everybody. Oh my gosh, you guys are all on top of it this morning. Tanya, Deborah, Sue, Gladys, Gabriella, Carol, Kathy, Carol. Oh my gosh, the gang's all here. So I'm glad you guys are joining us. All right, so you wanna see, here's the sneak peek. The version we're gonna make now is the raspberry version with this pretty raspberry paper. The version that I have already prepped to show you is one with the blueberries. So this stamp set and pack of paper are well, you had the paper before, one of the celebration items that you can get. And I gave myself a minor panic this morning because I was actually thinking this weekend is the last weekend for celebration, but it's not. Celebration runs through next weekend, so we don't have that much time. And the pieces that I'm using are here bookmarked with my little tab, and they're here in the back of the celebration catalog because what we're doing is using a level 2. So if you have this coveted paper, I know lots of people have been asking, will it be available after celebration? Usually not. So the one exception to that is the Hey Chick stamp set, which is back from 4 years ago. So I wouldn't count on it. Stock up now. And of course, there's lots of great things available that will make you want to stock up on this. So, all right, you guys ready to see how this is gonna work? Let me pull you down here. And thanks for everybody's good mornings. Let's see, do I have you guys framed pretty well? Yes, okay. So anyway, there we go. We are going to be starting off, the one that I've kind of started to show you here uses the berry blessings and the blueberries. So this image here, which is 2-step, all the berries are 2-step, and then Green Apple Green and Pacific Point. And when you open this, it opens like this, and you get your cute card down there. So I know we're kind of zoomed in so you can't see the whole thing necessarily, but we're going from here and then open to have our card inside, okay? All right, but we're gonna swap out the colors because we're bringing in the raspberry paper, and then we're gonna take out Pacific Point and this denim ribbon, bring in the blackberry ribbon. The supplies for this are all linked in the video description, and bring in our Blackberry Bliss and Rich Raspberry purples, okay? So we have this. All right, but I'm going to smush that all aside because the first thing I have to do is show you the paper cutting. And usually in my videos, I don't show you the paper cutting because, you know, usually I just give you the sizes and stuff, but I know sometimes it helps people to see the whole process. So we're going to just go ahead and do the whole thing here. Now, I need a 9-inch piece of paper, so you can either swing the arm out or you can cut by subtraction. When you do this card, you always want to start with a square, and honestly, any size will do. So I'm cutting off 3 inches, so I have 9 left here, and I'm going to save this because it's going to be part of our card. And then this one, I'm going to cut another 3 inches off, so we've made a 9-inch square. And oops, let's cut the scoring blade, okay? And now we have our 9-inch square base, and this is going to kind of be the starting point for our card. All right, so when you do this preliminary base fold, it's pretty simple. What you wanna do is start by making a plus sign on your paper, okay? And you can use your bone folder to squish if you want. I actually don't super squish my DSP when I do this, at the creases, because I don't want it to get damaged. And whatever I'm putting on the outside of my plus fold, I just opened it up and turned it to make the other plus, is what will be the front of my card. Now, I'm gonna open it, flip it to the other side, and fold on the diagonal to make my, there we go, to make my other fold. So basically I've made a plus fold and one diagonal fold, and the diagonal fold is inverted. But if you don't remember that, don't worry about it. Now, all I have to do is poke down in the center of my plus. So this is my plus, poke down in the center and bring those corners up. And that is going to make my card base, okay? So I promise it's pretty simple. So, all right. Oh, I haven't been paying attention to comments. Sorry, guys. Balmy in Wisconsin, Kathy says, man, thoughts and prayers for all of our friends suffering in Texas, man. Stay warm is what I hope that everybody's staying safe. So, okay. Yeah, but glad that it's warming up in Wisconsin. We're a little bit warmer here today too. Okay, so we have our card base set. Before I start to add layers and so forth onto this, I'm going to take my blackberry ribbon, and I don't usually just measure it. I usually put it on my card and then kind of eye out where I want it to go. So if this helps you, it is about 22 inches of ribbon, but I'm going to attach this because I don't know about you, but when I make a card, I don't really want the ribbons and the cute closures to get lost when we unfold it. I don't want this ribbon to go away and have it not be readily available. So I'm gonna just make the ribbon part of my design. I've got my Seal Plus, and I'm going to run this across the center and just press my ribbon down onto that. I love ribbon is kind of forgiving. You can pick it up if you want to. And now here's my reminder to you. You want to stick this down in the front, but you can't stick it on the back, because if you stick it on the back, then you won't be able to open your card, okay? Because remember, our card has to open like this, and there's that big gusset in the middle. All right, so now that we've got that, we're gonna bring in this pretty sort of berry reminiscent paper, and I'm going to cut two pieces for this. I'm gonna cut one that is 4.5 inches. So this is gonna go on the inside of our card, and then I'm gonna cut one that is 4 inches, and this is gonna be our layer for the front, okay? So I'm gonna bring this in and pop this across here. And when I do a dimensional project like this, it's gonna kind of get some wear and tear. I usually like to go ahead and use my Seal Plus or tear tape to make sure that things are really well stuck down on the outside. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to bring in my stamps. So we have our pieces here. I've got my raspberry leaves, I've got my raspberry topper, and I've got our greeting. And let's see, this Whisper White piece is gonna go on the inside, so I'm not gonna stamp that, but I have this Whisper White scrap here that I'm going to use. Now, if you are like me, you're not a humongous fan of fussy cutting. I don't mind fussy cutting occasionally, but I don't love doing it all the time. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite tricks for avoiding fussy cutting, and that is to stamp on a piece of cardstock that I'm then gonna punch out with a circle punch, okay? So I've got my raspberry here. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my background first, and I'm gonna stamp off once before I stamp on my paper so that I get just a little bit lighter. And let's see, I actually am not sure whether I'm gonna do raspberry. Oh, that's kind of pretty. You could do rich raspberry over the top, or you could bring in blackberry bliss and go over the top also. All right, and then I have my green here, which I'm gonna do with Granny Apple Green. And I'm gonna pop my color on first, and I love the way these two images abut each other so that you don't have to cut out the separate pieces. There we go, pretty cool, right? Just there's a little V in the top of that raspberry. And then I'm gonna add some color kind of around the side here. Now it doesn't matter that this isn't connected in any way, because it's going to be punched out. So, all right, and then I just added here. And my Grand Apple Green kind of needs a little bit of re-inking. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes I hold off on re-inking my pads because I love having the lighter tones available. So you can always, of course, stamp off to get those, but kind of convenient when they're ready-made for you. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to punch my circle right here. So don't you love how we have escaped having to fussy cut that element? All right, and now I'm going to come back here with my Rich Raspberry again and stamp my greeting, which is wishing you the very best. And I'm reminded again how much I love photopolymer stamps because it's so easy to see through them. You notice I'm actually not, although I usually use a piercing mat underneath my stamping. When I have images that are this small from photopolymer, I don't always worry about adding that mat to it. Usually you can get away without it. All right, so next thing, we're going to have this kind of element stuck here. We're gonna have our wishing you the very best, and let's go ahead and pop a mini Stampin' Dimensional underneath there, or maybe a full-size one, because we're gonna get stuck down in the end in any case. All right, oh, that was not where I wanted it. I want it on here. Oh my goodness. All right, and I'm gonna pop it kind of over to the side here because we're gonna offset our greeting just a little. All right, so now I'm going to take my one of my clever clasps and put this on here. And so this is gonna set here. We're gonna add one more little element from our ribbon. I'll set this down for you so that I can go ahead and have this ribbon repeated. I love repeating elements on a project. Sue says no fussy cut. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Missy. I'm so glad that you're here too. Yeah, origami is a lot of fun, and we have the most beautiful papers for it. So if you know origami lovers, make sure that they know about our cool papers. The other thing I love about this project is that you get to see both sides of the designer series paper, so you don't have to pick your favorite. You can show off both. All right, and now I'm just going to pop the clasp through the ribbon there inside the bow. So now our bow shows off, but we don't have to cover up that center part. So it's gonna go here. Now, when I made this, I thought, oh, that's really pretty, but you know what? This really gets lost in the background because there's not enough contrast between the background layer and our pretty fussy element here. So I'm gonna bring in my favorite punch. I know I say lots of things are my favorite, but if you check back, this really is my favorite punch. It's my 2 1/4 inch punch and I love it. And here it is going to save the day by making that element stand out. Do you see how much prettier that is to have that nice matching purple contrast between those two elements? So, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. And again, I'm going to use my Seal Plus because I love using that strong adhesive on the outside of things that are gonna be moved around a lot, because this is a great card. It's gonna see a lot of love. All right, and then I'm gonna pop some more Stampin' Dimensionals there on the back and pop this on here, kind of offset. There we go. All right, so there is the front of our origami base card. And yeah, Tanya agreed, it brings out the color for sure. Now we need to come back and add some elements on the inside. So we have this piece of paper here. Now, since the inside of our card is this pretty raspberry, we're going to repeat the green from the front here on the inside. And I know you might be thinking, oh, that's nice, Meg, but where am I supposed to write my message? So don't worry, we're getting there. All right, so I'm gonna pop this on. Oops, oops, oops. Grabbed right away. Okay, get that lined up there. All right, and now we're going to come back with our piece of Whisper White, and this is going to pop on the inside of our card to give us a place to do our writing. So let's just flung that out of the way. Let's do some stamping on it though. I think, let's see, I think we need another raspberry. And maybe, let's see, what if we do some, okay, we'll do our raspberry like this. Oh, remember, stamp off because I want it to be a little bit lighter. And then our darker outline. And I know sometimes I stamp the outlines first and sometimes I stamp the backgrounds first. It probably seems pretty random. It's honestly kind of random to me too. When I have something that doesn't line up exactly like this, sometimes I like to stamp the background so that it's a little easier to hit the top of it. But you'll, the more you stamp, the more you'll kind of find a favorite. And then I'm going to pop this, I think I meant to do that upside down, but that's okay. Pop this leaf on the corner, and then I'm going to pop our stem here on the top. All right, and this feels a little kind of funny to me with the way this stem goes off to the middle of the card. It's kind of like alone there. So I think I'm going to, let's see, how do I want to do this? I think I'm going to add some more leaves up the side. Let's do this. There we go. I like that better. It's a little less lonely now. Okay, things floating. You could, of course, stamp more and so forth, but we want to leave some space for our greeting. So I'm going to come back in here with my adhesive and open this up. Let's see. And pop this on the inside. Now this layout is good for lots and lots of things. I'm going to show you another project that I shared kind of recently. So there's our front, and then I just tie this bow. Now, if you wanted to mail this, it's 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. So it would almost fit into a regular size envelope. I probably should have made it 8.5 by 8.5. So let's back up. If you want to start with an 8.5 by 8.5 piece, and here's our blueberry with the inside there. Oh, I forgot one more embellishment. I'll bring that in a second. If you want to start with 8.5 by 8.5, it'll fit in a regular envelope. Otherwise, this is the card that you could hand to somebody. And with that clever clasp, you want to make sure that you protect the top of that. So there's a number of different things you can do. One would be to go ahead and add a piece of bubble wrap over the top of that so that it's inside your envelope but bubble wrapped on the top. And then just remember you're going to want to pay the extra ounce stamp, which I've showed a couple times, so that you have that extra ounce, that bump paid for. So it's not actually an extra ounce, but you're basically paying for the bump. So, all right, so I have this cute little resin heart, which are not just for Valentine's Day. I adore these guys. And I'm going to pop it on this card. Oops, should have got my take your pick tool out. On this card, I'm going to pop it here because it's a little easier to see, I think, than down here. So that kind of adds just that extra little decoration to it. Okay, so you are maybe thinking that this tag looks just a little bit familiar. If you remember the circle bottom boxed bag, so here's the I know it's not a square on the bottom, but the punch shape at the bottom is a circle and uses my very favorite 2 1/4 inch circle punch. And so this circle bottom box bag is also using the same kind of tag idea. See, oh, those pieces aren't connected. There we go. Very familiar, right? And then I had made a blueberry version of this too. So if you're looking for this project, you can find it on my blog, and the video description, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, has the link to this project and some others. Let's see, here's some others. There's a spinner card here, which has this fun spinner element on the front of it. There's a tutorial for that. There's this 3-layer flap card, which opens like this with the different parts of the card. And there is a slimline card, and I have both the blueberry and the strawberry version of this one. So here are these, and the cutting sizes and so forth are all on my blog or in the video tutorials for these things. So you can check my blog for those. I do love this paper. It is so flexible. I will say right now, I didn't use the strawberry punch at all today because right now the strawberry punch and stamp set are on not orderable status. Stampin' Up! Usually, if they have a long back order or something, they have that just turned off so that they don't have people waiting forever for things. But the good news is that they're projected to be in the warehouse next week, so that should be back pretty soon. You can always get your paper and stuff now and then think of those later. And here's kind of a simpler strawberry card that I made at a meeting, a stamping Loven Stampfuls video meeting. And then here is another project that's available on my blog as a perpetual birthday calendar, and there's a download for the directions and the pieces, the printing pieces, and all of the pages. So you can get this and the little pocket thing here from my blog there. And I haven't decorated all of these yet. I think, what do I have? January, and then, oh, I have some fall ones, October and November and December. So I should decorate some more of these pages soon. So if you're looking for that, that's available too. Yeah. So I think, oh, and this last one. So the same preliminary fold origami piece that we used here, I made into a photo album and have it pop out like this. So lots of cool ideas. And hey, I saw Missy on here. Here's Missy right here. We were in Orlando at a Stampin' Up event. So anyway, lots of good possibilities for different projects. And this base is definitely one you're going to want to keep handy in sort of your stamping toolbox of things to pull out, especially when you have a designer series paper, a designer series paper that you love both sides and you don't want to have to give up on one of them and stick it down and lose the pretty back. This is a great one to trot out and use for sort of a different fun fold. So, all right, so it's Thursday. We have one more day of Maker Mornings with Meg this week. And like I said, less than 2 weeks, so a week and a weekend left of celebration. So make sure you get those orders in for those things. I haven't seen that anything is on the low inventory list, but I don't want anyone to miss out on anything because there's not a whole lot of time left on that. And the stamp set, both the stamp set and the paper, both are included in that bundle. So, all right, guys, wherever you are, stay warm today, stay safe, yeah, make something fun and share a little bit of joy with somebody else in your life. So, all right, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy stamping.